Hey everyone, it's Melissa from Yoga for Health Long Island. Today's video is going to focus on beginner's yoga. If you've never tried yoga before, definitely start with this video. I'll ease you into it. I'll speak a little bit about what yoga is, what it can do for you, and we'll do some gentle stretching. So nothing too crazy, just a nice little introduction to yoga. So in your mind, what is yoga? From what you see on the internet, from what you maybe read in a magazine, what does it look like to you? And maybe it's this, powerful stretching that you need to be extremely flexible for, or maybe it's something you're just not sure about, you don't really have much knowledge about. I know when I started my company, everything that I was seeing in my, social media feeds was girls doing really intense yoga poses, like pulling their feet over their heads or doing big splits and just stuff that was so intimidating. So for me, as someone who practices yoga, I was even intimidated by what I was seeing. So a while back, we used to actually offer something on our social media feeds called Friday Faces of Yoga for Health Long Island. And the goal of that was to showcase people doing yoga any size, any age, doing really easy stuff that's accessible to everybody. And my goal was to really just show people that you can do this practice. You don't have to be flexible to do yoga. In fact, it's going to help you become flexible. And there's definitely classes that are open to everyone. If it's too much for you to sit on the mat, you can try some of our chair yoga sessions. But if you're ready to, be able to move up and down and kind of get in a good zone, then this is a good session to start. So I'm going to hop on my mat. Please feel free to hop on your mat. I'd love for you to join me, and we'll focus on this beginner's yoga session. So the first thing about yoga, actually, let me grab my block here. I have a block over here. If you purchase one of these, it can come in extremely handy. It's great for poses when you can't reach the ground. For instance, let me show you one here. This is triangle pose. We reach our arms out, and I'll talk about it a little later. But if you can't reach the ground, then you have this block to bring your hand to the ground, right? So that's bringing my hand to the ground. But another good tool that this block is for is if your hips feel really tight and it's hard to sit with your legs crossed on the ground. So I go ahead and sit on my block. I cross my legs, and this is extremely comfortable. Your hips are higher than your knees. So if sitting completely on the ground is intense in the hip area or in the lower back area, I suggest getting one of these blocks. You can even use a cushion, right? So I have this cushion here. This is called a meditation cushion. You could just grab a regular pillow, maybe 2 pillows or a couch pillow. And same thing, you can sit on your cushion. This one's actually slightly higher than the block, a little more stable because the block is pretty small. Alright, so I want you to find a comfortable seat, maybe sitting on a pillow or a block. If you feel great sitting on the mat, please do that as well. And just rest your hands in your lap, and I'd like you to gaze down, so looking towards the ground, or if you feel comfortable and confident with closing your eyes and just listening, then that option is there too. And I'm going to ask you to kind of tune into your body. And what does that mean? What does it mean to tune into the body? What I want you to do is start to focus on different areas of the body. So maybe bringing your focus to your neck and shoulders right now, and just notice what they're feeling like. Are they comfortable and relaxed? Are they tense and pulled up? Are they sore? What's going on in the neck and shoulder area of your body? Just check in with it. And I want you to take a deep breath as you do that. So a big inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Then I want you to focus on a different area of the body. Focus on your hips and thighs and lower back, all around that area. And notice what's going on. Is there any pain or tension, tightness? Maybe it feels really relaxed and comfortable. just kind of tune in, check in, notice what's happening in those areas of your body. And while you do this, let's take a deep breath. Good. So if you're ever in a yoga class and someone says, check in with your body or tune in with your body, that's what they're asking you to do. They're asking you to notice anything that's happening, maybe that you haven't generally noticed in the past, right? We're walking around, we're doing a million things in our house and our jobs, playing with our kids, everything going on. There's not many times that we're like, you know what, let me see how my body feels. What is going on in my body? So it's a nice little introduction to the beginning of yoga, usually just sitting down and checking in to see what's going on in your body. And then usually you'll start to focus on breath control, right? So if your mind is going all over the place right now, or even in general, right? The mind's like, I have to cook today, and I'm going to do the laundry, and I have to bring the dog to the vet, and this and this and this, right? So the mind is constantly thinking and going and figuring out what's next. So for this video, all I want you to do right now is to bring that mind, bring its attention to watching yourself breathe. How do you watch yourself breathe? Bring your attention to breath. So maybe you're breathing a little shallow today. Maybe you're breathing a little fast. Maybe you breathe really slow. I'm not you, so I'm not sure what's going on in your body, but I want you to bring your attention, your mind, tune in to the breathing. What's going on with yourself right now? And then start to deepen the breath. So if it's comfortable, breathe through the nose. Take a nice inhale slowly. And exhale slowly. Inhale slowly. And exhale slowly. And just notice how the thoughts start to float away. And you're just focusing on watching yourself breathe. There's lots of breathing techniques that are folded into yoga, and they can be used on the mat and off the mat. So take a few moments here, just focus on breathing in and out through the nose. See if you could slow it down. We tend to breathe fast, nice and slow, barely sipping up the air. Great, so those are two things that yoga does focus on besides the physical movements, right? So we checked in with our body just to kind of be aware of what's happening within. And we checked in with our mind and our breath. So those are three things that you might want to check into before you start the practice of physical yoga. You can go ahead and blink your eyes open. We'll move over any props that we were using. Okay, and then we're just going to do some gentle stuff today. So I will show you triangle pose. That was the pose that I just had with the block. You can do it with or without a block, okay? But if you have the block, you're going to place it at the front of your mat. We start with the left leg forward. So my left toes are facing my mat. I'm going to step my right foot back about 3 feet from my front foot, and these toes are parallel to the back of my mat. So these are opposite, right? Left toes forward, right toes parallel with the back of the mat. I'm going to bring my arms out to T. And I'm going to do my best to keep the legs straight. I'm going to reach towards my left front leg, and then my hand can gently rest on my thigh if this is a new pose for you, or maybe your shin, or if your block's available. Okay, and a lot of times my body starts to pull forward. I want to pull it back towards the leg, almost as if I was flat against the wall here. And I feel this a little bit in my hip and side area. If your legs are tight, you're going to feel it underneath your left leg, maybe even the right leg. And you want to get those shoulders nice and lined up here if you can. It's okay if your arm does not rise that high just yet. That means we're going to work on doing some chest muscles, so opening up if you can. Good. And that's triangle pose. So we do a lot of lunges in yoga. So standing lunge. Let's do the opposite leg. So I'm going to take my left leg, I'm going to reach it all the way back, just my toes. And I'm going to come into this lunge here. I'm going to bring my arms above my head. So relax those shoulders, arms are tall. Relax your front toes. And you're working on straightening your back leg as much as you can. In the beginning, your leg's going to be a little bent. Try to straighten it, and then we bend into this front leg as well. And this is our high lunge position. This is going to really open up your hips, okay? So you hold the pose for a few breaths. Keep breathing while I explain. Your muscle in the front of your thigh here is called your psoas muscle, and it goes all the way to about the middle of your back here. So it comes up near the femur bone, through the hip, does like a little swirly thing, and comes into the middle of the back there. So that's a big muscle that you are stretching. It's actually the largest muscle in the body. Take one more deep breath and then we'll switch legs. Let's try the other side. So go ahead and step the right foot back this time. And it's kind of a balance, right? We're on the toes here, so you might be wobbling. Try to catch that balance, bringing those arms up. You guys are gonna hold, you're gonna breathe. I want you to focus on relaxing any tension that you're feeling. If you're feeling it in the hip area, try to soften that area. If you're gripping the mat with your toes, try to relax them. And then in yoga, what do? We come back to that anchor of breath. So inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth, trying to relax your body into the posture for one more breath. Very nice. Let's shake out those legs. Another big thing in yoga is balancing poses. So have you heard of tree pose? Most people have heard of tree pose. Whenever I teach kids yoga, that's the first thing they go for. They're like, tree pose, let's hold it, right? So I'll teach you guys tree pose here. So you stand with your feet together. You can be facing forward on your mat. I'm turning this way so you can see me better here. So I'm going to stand on my right foot. My left foot I can leave really low here if I'd like. So my heel would come right above my ankle. My left foot's still on the ground if balancing is tricky for you. If you want to go a little further, you would put it on your calf. Okay, so my right foot is down, my left foot is on my calf, and my knee is turned out to the left. Try not to pull the knee in, you want to pull it out. Okay, and if that is still pretty easy for you, you can eventually go above that standing knee, okay? So for now, today, I'm going to practice bringing it here. We usually press our palms together in front of the chest, and a way to help you get this balance is to look directly forward at a space. So focus on one little dot on your wall or a picture or something that can really keep your attention, and then you try to soften that breath, holding the pose. Awesome. We are going to do the other side. So my left foot is standing nice and flat and grounded. Again, you can keep the foot on the mat. If balance is tricky for you, practice with the foot on the mat. Eventually, right foot is going to come to the calf. We never want to press on that standing knee. Then you're going to press the palms together here. If you have a chair or something you'd like to hold on to, you can also invite that chair over. So this way you can practice getting the leg a little higher, opening that knee up to the side, and focusing on inhale, exhale, softening away the thoughts, really practicing how to balance. Can we balance off of the mat into our life? Balancing work, play, fun, responsibilities. How do we balance it all? Maybe we start with balancing in the body here. Take a deep breath. Very nice. So let's practice a couple things on the floor. We'll do one that's good for your spine. You bring your legs out long, so sitting on the ground here. And again, if you need to have those hips up higher, you can still use your pillow or your block for this, sitting up higher. I'm going to take my right leg and I'm going to cross it over the left. So what that looks like if I'm facing forward is my right foot is crossed over and it's flat on the ground. I'm going to take my right arm, I'm going to place it behind me like a kickstand. So coming here. I'm going to lift my left arm, take a deep breath, and then I'm going to hug my thigh in. So I am turning to my right. I have my right leg crossed over and I'm turning to the right. I'm sitting up tall, and this is lengthening my spine. Take a nice deep breath and twisting the spine. Sitting up nice and tall. Another one, big inhale. And exhale, let it go. Let's work on the other side. So left leg's gonna cross over, my foot is flat. My left arm comes behind me. I'm gonna hug this right thigh, or left thigh, my apologies, as I turn towards my left. So I'm twisting past my leg, sitting up tall. Inhale, exhale. A lot of yoga poses are twisting and turning, and it's kind of stimulating the internal organs to really help them stay well. One more breath. Very nice. So there's plenty more yoga that we can be doing, but I'm just trying to give you a breakdown of how this usually goes. So we usually start with that seated meditation, breathing, checking in with our body. Then we do some of our standing poses like the lunges, the triangle pose. Then you usually move on to some balancing, so that's the tree pose, and maybe some other balancing poses. Then usually a teacher will offer you stuff midway, so maybe coming into a tabletop position, working on balances like this, or stretching, right? Or maybe twisting again, twisting across. So there's some stuff on our hands and knees, and then they offer those seated poses, so sometimes a fold, or twisting over the legs, right? Those are the things we talked about. And then you work yourself onto your back if you're able to. So you'd come on down, you do some poses here. Sometimes we cross the leg and then we reach up and do a couple sit-ups, right? Everybody's favorite. Or stretching in the leg here. A good one is bringing the legs overhead, letting the blood flow the opposite way, really slowing everything down here. So you can even do that against the wall with your legs up against the wall. But what really happens at the end of yoga is quite amazing. We lay down flat. So laying flat on your mat, again, there's tools you can use. There's something called the bolster, but if you have pillows at home, you can use your pillows. You want to place them under the knees. This is going to relieve any tension in that lower back area. So if laying flat is extremely uncomfortable, put something under the knees, a nice pillow. And just like in the beginning, we close our eyes down, except now we've worked our body. We've done all of this movement. So closing your eyes, I want you to get nice and comfortable laying on your mat, whether you're laying flat or you have something underneath the legs there. And again, you start to go into the body, checking it out. What's going on? Am I still holding tension? Do I feel relaxed? Just checking in to see what's happening. And usually a teacher would leave you here from anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes, depending on that teacher. And sometimes it feels really uncomfortable to stay in this space. We feel anxious, or our mind doesn't want to quiet down, but I really challenge you to stay here, breathe it out, a few more breaths. Our bodies can really benefit from movement, but our minds can really benefit from stillness, being quiet and calm. Take one more deep breath. And then reaching overhead. Nice morning stretch. We'll bring ourselves up to a seated posture, and usually a teacher would close out their session here. So I hope this makes sense to you. I hope it makes yoga a little less scary and maybe something that you want to give a try. It's not just about physical exercise, it's about quieting down the mental thoughts, the mental chaos that goes on in everybody's mind at some point. It's about listening to your body, knowing what your body needs and wants. It's about balancing life. Yoga has so much to offer you. It is not just a physical exercise, so I really challenge you to look through our videos if you feel comfortable. Look through Beginner's Yoga series, anything that you want to start with, whether it's with us or somebody else. I just want you to feel comfortable, and I want you to try it out. Let me know how it goes. Leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks again.